Hey guys, welcome back to another unboxing with the Mountain Bike Shed. Visit us at www.mtbshed.com. You can shop there, see what we have in store, or we can ship things to you. So today we've been going through just opening our shop orders, some stuff as it comes in. Nothing's really special in this week, but I thought it would be interesting and it helps me work on talking to myself and getting content out to you guys. So we hope here in the future to kind of move on to maybe some more of the kind of background financial stuff and all the other fun things to running and operating a bike shop. So stick around for us. I'll try to put timestamps below on products possibly. Subscribe to our channel. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a full suspension mountain bike, so help us get there. We'll find out a way to make sure we're giving it away here on YouTube. So we'll probably do a live giveaway once we hit 1,000. So help us get there. If you're watching down the road, maybe we're well surpassed that, but probably not. So let's get to it. We'll jump right through the order. I've got this is from our kind of main part supplier, somebody we kind of order from a couple times a week, depending on what we need. I think I placed like 6 orders this week. We'll find out why as I go through this order and maybe some things we missed that we needed. It is springtime. We're about an hour before the shop opens. Behind me, you'll probably hear this clock. That's the grandfather clock. It will chime at the hour. Linda's joining me as well. You guys can see her twice now. I've got to adjust her zoom level so you can see her proper. Linda's the shop dog. She's here all the time. Come say hi. She's very friendly. She's been here since she was 6 months old. So we'll leave her on camera. That way maybe this podcast stays a little bit more interesting and my coffee hides. Let's get to it, guys. First off, we have a dangerous sign. We are a Jameis authorized dealer. We also sell at this time Trek. So yeah. Check out our reviews on some of their bikes. Jameis has some really good price points, and I really like how they build their bikes. Like, for example, they've got a full suspension bike right now, spring of 2023. It's under $2,000. It's got a dropper post, full Shimano all the way through. And our first product is a Shimano brake rotor. This is just a 160, so basically a replacement. Again, we're into spring, so you know, we're dealing with that. So that's just typical 6-bolt RT26. This is going to come standard on most of your entry-level bikes. Yeah, 160 on the rear. You can always upgrade your rotor if you know, the more surface area you have, you know, the more that heat's going to dissipate. So getting a bigger rotor, if you're especially heavier riders, if you're having problems with stopping or brake fade, things along those lines, look into getting a bigger rotor, especially upgrading that rear. Most people are going to use their rear brake more than their front. So get a bigger rotor, upgrade that. You'll have to get an adapter. Make sure the adapter stays with the brand of caliper that you have. So if you have a SRAM caliper, you need to get a SRAM adapter that meets the bigger rotor, or Shimano, or whoever else. Don't mix and match those. You could run into some issues by doing that. So yeah. Upgrade your rotors, get them bigger. You can always take the 180 off the rear. Most mountain bikes are going to have 180s, not 160s, but you take the 180 off the rear, or yeah, take the 180. Just upgrade to 203. It's early. We're still getting rolling this morning. So got another brake rotor. Obviously, there's probably more in this box. On the lines of brakes, we've got a set of Avids. So we took in on trade a Trek Y22 Carbon, really neat bike, and a customer came in, bought it for his teenage son, which is really awesome. But the shifters were integrated, so they were a little bit gummed up over time. We replaced the shifters with standalone units, and then ordered in these brakes to kind of match with the silver. So really cool Y22. We probably have some posts on Instagram and whatnot with that bike, but it is gone. We sold both of our kind of retro early 2000s Trek 6 this week. We had a VRX with the original build sticker. That was pretty neat, but whatever. Cliff Block. So this is the most popular bar or nutrition here at the shop. Strawberry, just normal. I like strawberry, so that's why we have that. But yeah, this is what everybody wants. These cliff blocks are like a gel if you haven't had them before. Really good to put in your pack. They're not really going to melt unless they get like super, super hot, but they can withstand pretty high temperatures. But good to carry with you. They're broken up into, I think it's 5 or 6 in here. I think 6 maybe. But yeah, good to throw in your pack. That was one thing. When I was getting my level 1 certification for mountain bike instruction, the number one thing that I took away from that I always think about is making sure you always have snacks with you, especially on when you're out with other people, whether you need it or not. You can really, you know, we spend a lot of time in that course kind of, you know, your job is to watch the riders and correct issues before they become a problem. So if you do have something in your bag, you see a riding partner look like they're struggling a little bit before it's too late, offer them a block or make them eat the block. Maybe they'll be resistant even, but have them do that before they completely bonk out, because your ride's not going to be fun if your riding partner bonks out or if you bonk out. So also watermelon, these have sodium in them. So margaritas the same way. This is salted watermelon, but margarita is really popular. I hate the taste of margarita. It's actually Cinco de Mayo today. So they're setting up. Camilla's Tex-Mex next door to us, best Mexican food I've ever had. They'll be doing their celebration on Saturday. But yeah, if you guys are in town, see us at the shop, have lunch. They have tables set up in front of our shop, so you can peer into the shop and stare at bikes while you eat some best Mexican food. And if you're into margaritas, unlike me, then you can go that route. So more 6-bolt rotors. This is the Magura Storm. So we go with the Storms a lot. It's a nice 2mm rotor. This is just another 160, it looks like. Yeah, 160. Yeah, the Storms are just a really solid rotor. You guys can't really see, and I don't want to open it and potentially contaminate it, but really neat design to the rotor. So it looks good. They hold up well. So the Maguras are typically, we'll keep Shimano's and Maguras in stock. Shimano a lot of times just because people want it to come back to, you know, like to keep things the same, and I'm always on board with that. But the Maguras are normally just kind of easy change out. They tend to be the most affordable while still offering good performance. Goodness, this is a day of repair bike brakes. So this is probably for work order, linear pull brakes. Again, this is going to be the most popular brake that you're going to find on older bikes or entry-level bikes, so pretty common. I'm guessing we needed black for this customer specifically, not 100% sure there. But a lot of times people, like where this noodle comes in, that ends up getting like stretched or whatever. So yeah, that's that. You know, I could be changing you guys' camera angles. I think that's good podcasting, but yeah, we're not doing that today. Nothing really warrants looking at closely so far, which is kind of terrible, but okay, so maybe we will do a camera change angle. So this is interesting. We got a tire here. This is a 20-inch tire, so one day I'll figure out how to actually get you guys a screen inlay. But this is a 20-inch tire, as you'll see here. It's 20 by 1 3/8. Now, our customer brought in a 20-inch wheel set. Older gentleman, he's a farmer. He specifically let me know, he's like, I feel silly bringing these tires, and I just can't get these tires on. When I talked to him on the phone, I was like, oh, no worries, there's tricks to it. We'll teach it to you. It's no big deal. Happens to a lot of people unless you know the trick. Well, he came in, ends up, it was off a Schwinn Stingray. He wasn't sure the exact year. After we've had the bike and since ordered other tires from him, we're guessing it's in the later 70s. But maybe towards the end of the run of the Schwinns. But anyhow, the Stingrays had 20-inch wheels. Some of them had a fat wheel on the back. This was a fastback. So it just had the standard size, same wheels on both. Originally, it had a 20 by 1 3/4. So the customer had actually purchased a 20, he ordered in new tires for the bike. It was his sister's bike. Now he's fixing it up for the grandkid, but he ordered a 20 by 1.75. Well, that's obviously 3/4, so that should work. it was too small. So we knew that right away as soon as we found out that was the wheels were from a Stingray. So we ordered in a set of 20 by 1 3/4. They were too big. So really interesting. Schwinn did a lot of weird stuff kind of back in that decade. I was not alive then, so I didn't live through that whole process, but it's just another sign of the bike industry, whether it's bottom bracket standards, whether it's, I mean, now the seat posts, we can't even keep consistent across the board. You know, the new trucks are showing up with 34.9s on like the Fuel EXs and any of the bigger bikes. So kind of ridiculous that these standards can't stay the same. But yeah, they even, Schwinn did it with tires. Same thing with their like 28 and whatever they are. So yeah, cool bike. I wish the customer would have brought it in. So maybe when he picks up the wheels, once we get them set up with these guys, they'll bring the bike in. We'll get to check it out. But anyhow, that's tires. Went in on a little bit long about that. And the other one, he needed a full set. So we went through these and the last opening Fidlock bottles. We've had since then a lot of people request. The ones we had were strapped so that you could add a bottle wherever you wanted. But this guy here just goes on your regular bottle mount. So I'll show you guys that a little bit closer up in the underneath. That way we're switching things up and making this more fun. So to release it, you'll twist it off. I was twisting the wrong way. So you'll twist off, but then it just pops right on. So you don't have to twist it back on. That's an important thing, I think, you know, for people to realize. They've got a bigger and a larger size. I'll hold them up on the big screen all together. But yeah, really neat. Mounts right to your bottle cage. You can kind of slide forward or back, backward. But pretty cool how that works out. So I think we'll see this on most bikes moving forward. Great invention, or great product innovation from Fidlock. Then look at the exact time we started, but we're probably about 15 minutes in. That's the pendulum wall clock. It chimes at the hour, one chime for every hour. So it's 10 o'clock. We open at 11 today. So yeah, I got a little bit more time to get this recorded. Hopefully we're done by then. Just kidding. We only have a few more things left. So no biggie there. So that's Fidlock bottles stacking up. This is an interesting one. So a lot of people after the, you know, we're in 2023, so we're kind of out of the pandemic, but during the pandemic, whether it was, you know, shops were backed up or whatever else, a lot of people started doing work on their own. People from certain backgrounds, especially like our motocross riders, like to rebuild their own suspensions. And there's other uses, of course, but Honey Slick is a really neat product. Honey Slick is, they're used on your dust wipers on your fork. Let's get this under here. So Honey Slick is grease. Comes in a syringe like this. It's like, I don't know, $5 to $10 somewhere in there. But you would use this, like, let's say your dropper post stanchion's a little bit sticking. Maybe you could cheat and put this on there and kind of wipe it down, and that would be good. But typically this would go, you would coat this around on the inside of your dust wipers. But the reason you use Honey Slick is this won't like coagulate or like thicken up once it mixes with your fork oil or anything like that, or in your dropper post, any of the hydraulic systems. So in hydraulic systems, you want to use Slick Honey because it won't like chunk up in the oil and cause issues. So Honey Slick is the product you need for any of your suspension services and stuff along those lines. So yeah, really cool, neat stuff. Comes in a syringe. Like I said, maybe $5, $10, $15, somewhere in that range. And along those lines as well, we've got SRAM butter. So same principle, same idea as far as the anticoagulant type of properties. So yeah, come and grab your Silk Honey. We kind of dialed it back a little bit on carrying like maintenance supplies in the store. We always have like brake fluid. A lot of people bleed their own brakes, and then honey slick we do try to keep in stock. That does tend to come up. Like I said, it's kind of a good cheat. Fork boost has been going out a lot from WPL, so Whistler something something. WPL has the fork boost. That's always neat. We use that on customer suspensions, and it's amazing the amount of dirt we pull out of their bikes. So pretty cool to have that as well. But anyhow, moving on. We're almost done here, guys. I did order fist gloves. I'm not super familiar with them, but I did see that they had a cool skeleton crossbones sock, so I ordered that because that's sometimes when you're looking through parts for 30-40 hours a day and spending money on stuff for the shop, we needed large and medium gloves, which is why I went after them. Oh, they had extra small as well for the youth riders. We were finding that some kids, especially the teenage riders, kind of 12 to 13s, which we're seeing a big boom here in St. Louis of those riders, they're in between they didn't quite fit in the youth gloves, but they didn't fit in the small adult gloves. So extra smalls are now available with this goal on. I think we already checked those in the previous order. This is a King Creek headset. So another thing, I think we're in, maybe it's because it's tax season, I'm not quite sure, but this is a 4049 King Creek headset. So we're having a lot of fork upgrades lately. Anytime you upgrade a fork, we're typically going to recommend upgrading your headset as well. It's probably due. Headsets, kind of like your bottom bracket, needs to be changed. Maybe it's not always as obvious, but it does need to be changed on a fairly regular basis. So you should be able to like kind of turn your bike on its side a little bit, and not even that, but your handlebars should kind of fall to the side. If your handlebars, when it's in your stand or whatever, are just sitting straight, that's not right. So the bike's kind of tilted up a little bit, front wheels off the ground, those handlebars should turn. So if they don't, you need to replace your headset, especially if your bike was under like $1,500. You probably just have bearings in a carriage, just like an open carriage, so not an actual sealed bearing in there. Those tend to, especially the FSA ones, they'll get a lot of water in there just from cleaning your bike or general riding, and they rust up pretty quickly. So replacing your FSA headset with a King Creek, something like this, is it doesn't seem like it would be that great, but think about how many times your handlebars are moving and turning. So if that's a smoother process, if there's less friction there, if there's less resistance to start that movement, the bike's going to feel better. It's not something you really notice as a rider until you change it over, and then you can really, if you're kind of focusing on that, notice it well. So that's a King Creek headset, 4940, or a 4940. A lot of them are the 56, so watch out for that. This was, I mean, we needed one of these, but it's not what I meant to order. I meant to order the 056. So, yeah, mistake there. That's why, one of the reasons why you guys will see another one of these videos coming out shortly. I had to put in a couple extra orders to make stuff happen. And then beyond that, the kind of last thing in the box here, we've got kickstands. So, again, we are into spring, a lot of bikes coming in, a lot of our service bikes, when they do come in, they will have, you know, kind of a worn out or broken kickstand. These center mount, the nice thing about most of the truck bikes or modern truck bikes, they've got a rear mounting position, so they're easy on and off. You don't want to ride a kickstand when you're mountain biking. We try to have that conversation with parents if their kids are going to ride here at the Eureka Mountain Bike Park behind the shop. But yeah, good and sturdy. We cut these to size depending on the bike to make sure we're getting the right lean angle, and they just bolt through the middle. So I believe, yeah, these have the top cap on them, so we can just kind of pinch as well. Plus it's threaded, so very nice. That's it, guys. We'll keep doing these videos. Like I said, kind of, you're watching me practice to get used to talking to myself. When we did the watch or unboxings, and then these as well. So we'll keep going with the bike shop stuff, and maybe, like I said, we'll mold back into it. Subscribe, like this. That all helps. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I opened this bike shop just because I wanted to see the sport grow and get people into it. So, the more we can see this channel grow, the more stuff I can give away, the more we can kind of spread mountain biking and, just providing just basic, like we talk to our customers in shop. So I'm also going to work on secretly recording you guys. So look out for that. I'll let you know if I end up doing it after the fact. But I don't want people to get weirded out that I'm recording them and change our conversation. So yeah, we'll get you guys on all that kind of stuff. Subscribe, follow us. We're trying to improve the show each time. So if you come across something in an episode you think's interesting, if you or if we're doing something wrong, then feel free to comment. You know, this is all off the cuff. I don't look through this stuff to really have an educated, formal opinion other than just what my memory recalls from when I stuck it in a cart. So, yeah, I mean, don't take anything I say with a grain of salt, obviously, and we'll try to correct things as we go. Thanks for tuning in. See us next week.